Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Boom Symposium. So I hope you were able to watch a couple of webinars prior to this. We had Della Larson giving a phenomenal, inspirational key speech, and Eric Omeg, our CTO, it has demonstrated some amazing new features that are going to be developed this year. So my name is Tu Duong. I'm the general manager here at Boom Learning. I'm joined by Elizabeth Yates, our sales manager, and we're going to do a presentation on how to get Boom for your school. Now, before we start, I just wanted to share a couple of housekeeping details with you. We are recording this, and you will get a link to the recording. You'll also be able to see the recording on our YouTube channel. And if you look in the chat box right now, there should be some links to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, the symposium schedule, and our next event, which is teaching using Boom cards for differentiation. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already, please register for that. It'll be on the hour after this one. So also in the chat box, please feel free to put any comments you may have. Tell us where you're joining from. And again, anything interesting or a comment to one of our comments, please post it in the chat. If you have questions, please post it in the Q&A box. That way, everybody will be able to see the questions and the answers to them. So we want to keep this panel very interactive. We totally invite you to ask questions, and we want to really know from you, what are some of your challenges for getting EdTech purchased for you by your school or district? So keep that in mind. Feel free to post those questions. Definitely want to keep this more interactive. And again, we'll be answering questions throughout, but there's also going to be kind of a time towards the end where we have a live Q&A. So we'll answer those questions there. All right, so without further ado, we'll get started here. So what is Boom Learning? For those who are maybe new to Boom Learning, we're a platform that enables educators like yourselves to create or find engaging, interactive content for your students. And what's more, in our Boom store, there's well over 400,000 Boom cards that you can already buy or find for free. And that really allows you to provide more personalized learning for your students. It's easy to use the search tools to find and filter for your subject matter, your age group, whatever you need. There's probably something out there. And if you can't find what you need, we provide the tools for you to create those digital task cards that are self-grading. Speaking of self-grading, when your students play Boom cards, they're actually going to grade themselves, and it's going to provide you a report. One of the major things that I hear complaints about from teachers is that we don't have data to show that the student not only performed the activity, but how they performed it. So we provide the performance and progress reports that you and your administrators are demanding. So what are some of the biggest concerns from schools, districts, and administrators? When we talk to our customers, we hear time and time again, we need to find EdTech and tools that ensure student data privacy. We also want to make sure that it's easy to implement and that it's compatible with our existing systems, whatever LMSs you may have. Furthermore, like I said before, we need data to show that our students are performing well and that they're mastering the material. We need to know that these tools that we're using are effective. And another thing is that admins and maybe teachers themselves want to have some level of control over the tools that they're using. But tell me more. I would love to hear kind of what you guys are needing. And if feel free to interject that into the Q&A box below. So student data privacy, this is one of our top priorities at Boom Learning. Our CEO, Mary Omeg, is also our general counsel, and she makes sure that we are on the right side of the law, especially when it comes to students and their data. We do not advertise to students, we do not market to students, and we do not use student data for any consumer use whatsoever. We know and we believe that students are or should be able to control the data that's out there with them. And as a result, we're not going to add to those problems. We're also FERPA, COPA, SOPA, SOPIPA compliant. We realize that these compliance measures are very important to schools and districts, and we make sure that our platform complies to all of them. We're also a signatory of the Student Privacy Pledge. And what that means is that we signed a legally enforceable statement to safeguard student privacy. And just recently, we're actually quite proud of this. We were recently certified as a data privacy trusted app by IMS Global. Now, this is a very rigorous process where we had to be vetted to make sure that all the required privacy measures were in place. And furthermore, we practice privacy by design. That means we integrate privacy and data protection features into our system engineering, our processes, and our procedures. It is everywhere, and it is very integrated into the platform throughout. So what else is important to your district and schools? Integration with your LMSs. So right now we are integrated with ClassLink, Clever, Google Classroom, and Microsoft Teams. And this fall, we will also have a Canvas integration as well. I know that's been highly requested by a lot of schools and teachers, and we want to let you know that we hear you and we appreciate your feedback and we do act upon it. So these integrations allow for single sign-on and rostering of classes. So it's going to be a lot easier for your students to just log into their LMS and then automatically be logged into Boom and receive their assignments through their LMSs. And for teachers, it'll be easy for you to import your classrooms through the LMS as well. And the other concern is, do you have measurable feedback? Are you getting data that you can act on? Well, Boom cards are self-grading. They save teachers time and energy. You're not going to be spending your weekends grading worksheets or your evenings. And the time you save, you can really, put that back into what you do best, which is develop relationships with your students. The other great thing about this being self-grading is that students get instant feedback. So that feedback loop no longer takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's closed instantaneously. They're going to leave the activity knowing the right answer. And with all these activities, you're going to be able to allow them to try again as many times as you'd like for them to get the opportunity to learn what the right answer is. And once your student finishes playing these boom cards, you're going to have access to performance and progress reports. Here's some examples of our reports right there. Not only do we tell you how many times they played an activity, the average score they got on the activity, their best and last scores on it, but we go into much more detail. We allow you to drill down to the very card that they got correct or incorrect. Our accuracy map below that you see actually tracks answers from every single card, and it's interactive. So if you click on that chart anywhere, you're going to be able to go to the very activity where they answered correctly or incorrectly. If they answered incorrectly, you'll be able to see the incorrect answer. Not only will you get that accuracy score, you'll also receive information about how long it took to answer. So you can see if a student's struggling on a particular topic, or you can also see if they've breezed through the deck and they're potentially guessing. Either way, it provides you information that you can use to intervene. And finally, the students have access to their reports as well. I think it's really important to make them accountable for their performance, but also give them the information they need to perform better. So the top right image is what the student sees. They can see their progress, how much they've completed in terms of one play of a boom card in that green progress circle. And they can see the gems, which means how many correct answers they got out of all the activities cards. So we provide teachers and students reports about performance and progress. So what kind of features would you get with a school account? A school account is different from a regular teacher account. It will allow the school administrator to have an admin dashboard. It's a convenient way to store all your teacher accounts in one simple place. And the dashboard manager has a lot of control and management tools that they can work with. They can add and invite teachers to the dashboard. They can assign active memberships to those teachers, and they can also distribute points. So with Boom, you can purchase memberships and points. There are two things that go together very well. So with points, you use that to purchase Boom cards, and the administrator can distribute the points amongst the teachers however you all see fit.
Can I just interject here for a second too? I just wanted to clarify for the teachers in the room that the school dashboard features and the admin features are something that only comes with our school organizational product, which is like separate from the normal memberships that you like see on the normal page, like for your individual memberships. So when you go to purchase your own individual memberships, which is probably what most of you have now, that is not something that works with the school dashboard. The school dashboard comes with a separate type of membership. It's called Boom Plus. So it's just something to keep in mind that it works a little bit differently than what you're used to, but you still get all of the same great features that you have now with your individual membership, plus your admin also gets all of these awesome features when you purchase an organizational membership with Boom.
Thank you for that clarification. And it's all these extra features that kind of make it very attractive to your administrators to purchase for a larger group of teachers. Now, there are some more features that are fairly new. So we also have a school store, and that school store allows teachers to share their self-made Boom cards with the entire organization. You have like a private library that you can add your resources to, and then other teachers within the school account can just grab those activities from the private library. This also allows the administrator to make sure that the activities align to your school or region standards. We also have a new delegate feature, and that allows one of the teachers or more of the teachers within the school account to have administrative rights as well. So they can be co-admins. You can have a teacher account and you can have some administrative rights. We've noticed that a lot of our school sales are initially teacher referred. You know, one teacher uses our product, kind of realizes how great it is for their classroom and their students, and then shows it to other teachers, and it kind of grows from there. So when you go to your administrator, they're like, well, I don't know a lot about this. Why don't you find out more? Get me a quote, and can you help, you know, administer and manage the platform? So this delegate feature will allow teachers to not only have a teaching membership, but also have some admin rights as well to manage the school account. And it also is really easy to make additional purchases, such as points or memberships mid-year. Within the school dashboard, you can easily request quotes for additional orders. And that includes renewals as well. When it comes time to renew, you can easily, with a couple clicks of a button, request a new quote for renewal. So some of my tips for you to get Boom to pay for, or excuse me, for your school to pay for Boom Learning would be to email us at sales@boomlearning.com and ask for more information. We'll be happy to talk to you and advise you on different ways that you could get Boom for your school. You could refer your admin and we can reach out to them directly. We can give you a demonstration. Happy to include your admin, your IT director, any other stakeholder who has a say in what ed tech you use for your school or district. We're very happy to include them in the demo and answer any questions they may have. You can also go to our website and get a quote within minutes. On our website, there's at wow.boomlearning.com, there's a yellow button that says school and bulk purchases. Click here. It takes you to our estimate builder, where you can generate an estimate almost instantaneously. And you can also request a free trial. We grant you 90-day free trials for your school to really get to use and get to know our platform. And we also provide free onboarding, not just for teachers, but also for administrators on how to use this new school dashboard. And also, I know that a lot of your schools require vendor approvals. We constantly fill out vendor registration forms and RFP requests. That seems to be the pattern now, that we're finding that in order to be an approved vendor, we need to go through this process, and we're more than happy to. Just email the details or the forms to us at sales@boomlearning.com. So I'm gonna see if there's any questions while we're here.
I see a couple in the chat that I'd love to answer.
Let's take a break from that and answer some questions.
Yeah, so Michelle asked, on Boom Plus, is it possible for more than one teacher to use the exact same card at the exact same time with their students? And the answer really is, it depends. So just like with an individual account, content that is purchased from the store using points still only belongs to the one teacher that purchased it. But content that is created by teachers can then be shared, like teachers on that school account can share content that they create via the school store with any other teacher on that school account. So in that way, you're able to have, you know, one teacher or a group of teachers create content and then easily share it with everybody on that school account. And everybody is able to access that content essentially for free. So you're not duplicating work. Content from the store is still licensed for one teacher user. That doesn't change based on your membership. In terms of keeping data separate, I'm not quite sure that I'm understanding the question. So when you have a student log in, their data stays on their account, and that data is only accessible currently from that teacher's account. We are looking at potentially some features that might allow admins to pull and aggregate student data, but that's a little further down the roadmap. I'm glad I was able to answer your question. Are there any other questions that I can answer before we get a little bit more into, I kind of want to explain what our purchasing process is like, and then what are your options if your school is like, no, we're not going to do a big organizational purchase. If you want to use some discretionary funds to do this, we might be able to reimburse you. What are your options if you don't want to pay out of pocket, and you know, what can you do to get, you know, really get your admins to help you pay for Boom? Are there any other questions before we move towards that?
I see a question from Michelle. She says, currently having trouble because I purchased materials under my previous work email. I now use my personal email, but I'd sure love to combine those accounts. I hate repurchasing. That's not a problem, Michelle. We merge accounts all the time. Just send a request to merge your two accounts to help@boomlearning.com. Make sure to include the email addresses and any information you might have to identify both of those accounts so we can find them and merge them into one. And also let us know what account you want to have towards the end, which account to merge to.
Yeah, and whether or not you're going to be able to merge them may depend on if your account is actually owned by a school already or not. So but we'll do everything we can to help you. It's a pretty common scenario, so you are definitely not alone. Let's go ahead and take a look at our purchasing process. It's just a very quick overview. So step one, so the first step is to get an estimate from us. We have a very easy tool where you can request an estimate. All we really ask is the number of teachers, the number of students, and by number of students, I mean the number of student accounts that you would need. If you're currently mostly using FastPlay and you don't really use student accounts, you may not need that many students. But an estimate is also fine. You can give us a ballpark number, or if you're not sure, you can put that in the notes and an agent is happy to contact you and kind of help you work it out. Oh, I didn't mean to go backwards there. Once you submit your estimate, we will review it and approve it. If there's information missing or questions, we're going to contact you, reach out to you, make sure you understand what is all included in the estimate. And then at that point, you'll have a document that you can submit to your purchasing office, your business office, your administration, et cetera. Then they can decide how they want to pay. So they can either send us a PO, or we actually have a link where they can pay with a credit card as well. If you guys have like an ACH process or an electronic payment method they want us to use, they're welcome to send us that information as well. Once we have the PO or payment, then we actually fulfill the account. We'll send whoever is designated as the account manager, we'll send them the login for that and give them the information to start onboarding all of the teachers and inviting accounts and getting everyone set up. So it's actually a pretty simple process. A lot of people go in not really kind of knowing how long of a process it's going to be, and their administrators are just like, go figure it out. You teachers who have all of the time in the world, obviously, which we all know is not true. But I promise you it's a very easy easy process. And we do actually have live agents here to help you. You're not just going to be a nameless, faceless set of data in a web form. There is a real person reviewing all of that who will be with you every step of the way. So like Tu mentioned earlier, and this is the website to request an estimate. There's also a link on our homepage. There's also a link on our own homepage that says request a quote. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see it there. Like I mentioned earlier, the pricing and the product is a little bit different than our individual memberships. You won't be able to request a specific type of membership like premium or essentials. Boom Plus is its own membership package. So it's not going to ask you to choose a membership type. It's just going to ask you for the number of students and the teachers. And again, for student count, we only need to know the number of students for which you would need accounts. If you're teaching kindergartners and you don't want to have them log in, but you still want to be able to, be able to make Boom cards and share them with colleagues and all of that good stuff, you don't necessarily need student accounts for them. Points and memberships work together. Points are used in the Boom store in order to purchase pre-made content, right? In the estimate builder, you'll see they're set up in sort of packages. There's things like newbie package, renewing package, differentiate package, special needs package. And that can be a kind of confusing for some folks because they think that, well, can I only buy special needs content if I get a special needs package? What if I'm teaching general ed? Or what if I have a mix of teachers and specialists? What package do I buy? You don't need to worry about that. All you need to worry about really is the total number of points because all of the points are really the same. They're just kind of serving suggestions for different use cases. And if you read the suggestions, it'll kind of tell you what they're for. Each package is meant for one teacher for one full year for that particular use case, but you can actually split them up however you want. So you can buy 10 $1,000 points package, 10 1,000 points packages, or you can buy one 10,000 points package, and it's the same thing. If you accidentally purchase too many points in a given school year, those points don't expire. They will roll over to the next year. So those funds are not lost to you. They will remain on the account and you get to continue to use them until they are spent. Points and memberships are completely separate, like I said. They help you get started quickly because you don't have to spend the time creating the content yourself. You can obviously just go into the store, find some cool Boom cards, get started right away, but they're not required. And again, if you're not sure about points, you can just put that in the notes on your estimate and an agent will be happy to go through it with you and kind of help you figure out what a good starting package would be if you do want to buy points, but you're just not sure how many. And I want to go back to that first slide here. So if you think that getting Boom Plus accounts, if you have 4 or more teachers that use Boom at your school, if your admins like to kind of have all of your subscriptions in one place, they like to be able to see everything, they want to be able to renew everybody all at once, they want to be able to pay by PO, I highly, highly, highly recommend going the Boom Plus route because that's just going to make everything go so much smoother with your school. If that's the case, I would recommend submitting an estimate or having your email or admin email us at sales@boomlearning.com. We also did set up a link where you can actually book. You can book a time for a video demonstration, and I'm gonna try and drop that in the chat. Actually, Tu, are you able to send that link? Because I can't get to the chat from the screen, weirdly.
I will find it and put it in the chat for everybody.
Are you guys seeing my screen? Have I been talking with to screen this whole time?
Yeah, so I'm still sharing my screen and I'm trying to put it on the right slide to match your.
Nobody told me. Okay.
Sorry, you know what?
You
Why
should have
don't
interrupted me.
No, I'm gonna stop sharing and then you can share your screen. And in the meantime, I'll find that link for everybody.
Okay.
Also, I had some questions up here within the chat that while Elizabeth is sharing her screen, I'd like to address. Someone asked if you can share reports for the same student. I believe if you are a colleague, so if two teachers are colleagues, and you will be able to see reports from that specific student that you share.
You have to go directly. You can only pull it up like from that student, though. It won't show up like on your reports tab. Okay. So sorry. Can everybody see my screen now?
I can see it.
Okay. So have them email us at sales@boomlearning. Here is did you post the link already in the chat?
Nope. I'm going to find it right now for it.
I've got it right here. This is the link to book a demo. It's going to take you directly to our calendar where you can book a sales demo. In the notes, you can just put however many people you want us to invite. We'll make sure that they get the invitation. If you want to send an estimate, this is the URL. It's wow.boomlearning.com/estimate builder. And like I said, there is a link on our homepage as well. This is the outline of our purchasing process. And yeah, submitting an estimate is the best way to just get connected directly with a sales agent and just get that conversation started. Even if you don't know exactly how many teachers, how many students, how many points, just put in your best guess, put in your information, and then the sales agent will get in touch with you and we can have a conversation and kind of help you work it out. Angie did ask in the chat, can you still be a content creator if the school purchases memberships for the school? So we do not allow schools to have publishers on their accounts, or at least we highly, highly discourage it. We recommend that they keep them completely separate just for liability reasons. However, what we usually do recommend is that publishers who also have teacher accounts have the school pay for their teacher account, and then they continue to have a publisher account separately under their personal email, and then they just share their own content with their teacher account. So obviously you don't want to have to buy your own content. That's silly, right? And if you actually, clone or transfer your content to your teacher account, you can then also share it with your school as well. I hope that answered your question, Angie. All right, let me just go through here. So we talked about the estimate builder. We talked about points packages. All right, let's talk about individual accounts. So Boom Plus is definitely the way to go if you have multiple teachers. If your admins want to have a lot of control over the accounts, they want those extra features, they want those extra tools. You want to be able to share content that you create with all of the other users on your school account and all of that good stuff. But what if it's only you? What if it's like you and one other person at your school? What do we do? So we do allow schools to pay for individual user accounts using a credit card. Right now, the only way to do this, right now, one of the only ways to do this is by logging into the user account. So typically, like what a teacher would do is they would go to their admin's office, they would log in as themselves, and then the admin would log in, do the upgrade for them, and then they would log out. Sometimes if you live in a state where memberships are taxed, though, this can cause a problem because if you're using a school credit card and that is a state where schools are tax exempt, right? The admin will say, oh, well, we can't pay sales tax on this, so we can't do this for you. In that case, you or the admin need to reach out to sales at Boom Learning and say, we need a tax exempt invoice. My school wants to pay for my membership with a credit card. And in that case, we'll add an invoice to your account that they can pay with a credit card. Same thing, you'll just log into your account, you'll go to your settings, pull up the invoice, they'll be able to pay it. Once it's paid, we'll be able to see that. You can just email us and we'll upgrade your membership. It's a little more of a manual process. It's not as automatic as just going to the like renew or upgrade normally, but it can be done. Like I said before, once you have 4 more users, you're better off just going the Boom Plus route because then everybody has the same expiration date. The school can see everybody. Everybody gets renewed all at once. You don't have to make 4 different POs. It just goes a lot smoother. There are some schools I know that do not have a purchasing card or will not allow teachers to use a purchasing card. And you must pay by PO. The thing about Boom is we are still a pretty small team. We work very hard to be as accommodating as possible, but payment by PO generally means we're getting paid by check. All of those checks are still manually processed. So because of that, we do have a $150 minimum for PO purchases. So there's kind of a couple of workarounds you can do for this. Obviously, we don't want to just charge you some kind of like crazy processing fee, right, to hit that minimum. We want you to get something for that money. So we recommend either combining with another teacher. So like I said, if it's you and one other teacher, that can help you get towards that minimum, and then purchasing points to meet that minimum. Points, like I said, they never expire, and that's true whether you're on a Boom Plus account or whether you're on an individual account. You can use those points this year, next year, the year after. They'll remain on your account as long as you don't spend them. Once you hit that $150 minimum, we are able to create a custom invoice for you that your school can pay by PO. They can send us a check and we'll manually upgrade your account. Again, those requests, just go to sales@boomlearning.com. Another common thing that teachers have done when their schools are just like, no, we don't have the discretionary funds. No, we don't want to roll this out to everybody. You're just out of luck. Teachers have to pay for so much stuff out of pocket. We hear it all the time. Some teachers like to set up projects through sites like DonorsChoose. We've worked with them a lot. We're pretty familiar with their process. So typically what we do is for DonorsChoose, you can email us, tell us what it is you'd like to purchase, be it membership, points, any combination of those. We will issue you an invoice. Those invoices are tax exempt. They're tax exempt in most states automatically because it's being paid for by DonorsChoose, which is a nonprofit. The only thing about DonorsChoose is we have to wait for them to actually manually send us the check. Once the check is processed, then we will upgrade your account. So that is another option that we have had teachers use in the past, and we do support that process. So those are kind of all of the options. By far, the least aggravating is the Boom Plus because everything is just kind of, it's all built into our website. Everything goes a little bit smoother. It's a much less manual process, but we really do try our best to accommodate teachers as much as we can. Does anybody have, we've got just a few minutes left in our meeting here. Does anybody have any additional questions?
I was just going to respond to Dorothy. She asked, or she stated, I use a separate folder for each child for privacy. Is there a way to keep names private for assignments other than folders? So what I recommend, so just so you know, Dorothy and everyone out there, our classrooms are set to private by default. That means that the students cannot see other members of the classroom. So they will not be able to see the roster. But if you want to ensure student privacy even more, I recommend that you use something other than their personal names on their accounts as their username. So don't use John Smith or something as the username for that particular student. I would anonymize that username, and that way you can ensure their privacy and make sure their PII is not visible to others. Let's see if we've got any other questions here.
Yeah, it looks like Sandra asked in the chat, is there a way to find out from Boom if my school already has a membership to Boom Plus? You're welcome to email us and see if there is an account under your school's name, but that's about all the information we're able to give you, just because we want to make sure we are keeping everyone's information private. We can't tell you like whose teacher, what department, etc. But we can tell you if your school, building, or district does have an account. If you email us from a school email address, not if you email us from a personal email.
So I'm sorry, we've got to kind of wrap up because we want to be able to give you time to get to the next event, which is teaching Boom cards for using Boom cards to teach with differentiation. I want to thank you so much for joining us here. And please note, you're going to get a recording of this, so you won't have to worry about missing anything. And if there's any more information that you want from us, just email us at sales@boomlearning.com. You can also call us at 833-WOW-BOOM. A real live human being will be there to help you. So I hope to see you in the next event. And as always, happy booming, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.